Let's dive right into this explainer. Today we're bridging ancient Eastern philosophy with modern physics to help you find, well, ultimate inner peace. We're looking at two frameworks that honestly seem totally unrelated at first glance. Chapter 5 of the Bhagavad Gita and the scientific laws of thermodynamics. But as you'll see, when you overlay them, they create this absolutely perfect, actionable blueprint for completely transforming your internal state. Here's our map for today. We'll start with the chaos of modern life, explore two paths to inner peace, break down the lotus leaf technique, dive into the thermodynamics of the soul, and finally look at creating your calm galaxy. Let's jump right into part 1, the chaos of modern life and the epidemic of the restless mind. We're really living in a modern epidemic. Our minds are just completely overwhelmed by this constant barrage of sensory inputs and daily pressures. It creates a sort of chaotic internal friction that frankly drains our energy 24/7. The ancient texts actually describe this as the turbulent nature of the mind. It's a restlessness that totally hijacks our intellect, making it incredibly hard to just let go of those looping harmful thoughts. So we end up constantly burning through our precious energy resources on worries or fleeting sensory pleasures without generating any actual useful inner peace. That brings us to part 2, two paths to inner peace, and the dilemma of action. So to solve this very real modern burnout, Chapter 5 of the Bhagavad Gita offers a really profound framework called Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Now, at first glance, that sounds like a total oxymoron, right? Karma means action, while sannyasa means renunciation. How can you have both? Well, this path perfectly reconciles the two. It proves that true inner surrender doesn't mean you have to pack up your bags and go hide away from the world. It really is the ultimate dilemma, isn't it? Do you actively engage with a stressful, demanding society, or do you just flee to an isolated cave somewhere? This was literally Prince Arjuna's exact crisis on the battlefield. He was completely paralyzed, wondering if he should just renounce all his worldly duties to become an ascetic hermit, or stay in the messy, chaotic world and fight his battles. And the answer the text gives is incredibly practical for us today. Basically, you don't need to quit your job and move into the woods to find peace. The texts point out that physical renunciation is actually nearly impossible anyway if your mind is still full of chaos. So karma yoga, which is action with detachment, is declared the superior, more practical path. By engaging in your daily duties selflessly, you actually purify your mind right where you are, right in the middle of the action. Moving on to part 3, the lotus leaf technique, or mastering action without anxiety. The Gita tells us that abandoning attachment allows you to remain untouched by sin, or let's say in modern terms, untouched by stress. Just as a lotus leaf is untouched by water. I mean, it's such a stunning visual metaphor. A lotus grows directly in the absolute muck and mud, yet its surface remains completely dry and pristine. In the same way, you can be fully immersed in the intense demands of your job or your family without ever letting the anxiety of the outcomes soak into your inner peace. Okay, so how do we actually pull this off? We do it through nishkama karma, which translates to selfless action. Just imagine for a second giving up that desperate, clinching hope for success in every single thing you do. Imagine instead focusing 100% of your energy on the intention behind your work and remaining totally neutral whether it succeeds or fails. You actually become fiercely action-oriented, but you completely remove that crippling anxiety over the final result. It's a real game changer. Let's head into part 4, thermodynamics of the soul, where we map ancient spirit to modern physics. Now here is where ancient philosophy walks right into the physics lab. In thermodynamics, entropy is the second law, and it dictates that closed systems naturally and inevitably move toward disorder, chaos, and lost energy. I want you to think of entropy as a sort of scientific stand-in for human anxiety. Fun fact, just like a messy bedroom naturally gets messier over time unless you actively expend energy to clean it, a mind focused purely on stressing over the future naturally generates high emotional entropy. It becomes this chaotic state where your energy can literally no longer do useful work. When we act with selfish attachment, we're basically generating internal heat and really high emotional entropy. But look at the end goal in both of these fields. In physics, the goal is thermal equilibrium, where a system stabilizes at a calm, uniform temperature. And in the Gita, this perfectly mirrors samatvam, or equanimity. It's a state of perfect, undisturbed balance that exists right smack in the middle of a totally chaotic universe. By actively letting go of outcomes, you're essentially installing a highly efficient psychological cooling system right in your brain.
You neutralize the chaos and dramatically lower your mental entropy. Just as a physical system prevents a total meltdown by managing heat, practicing detachment prevents personal burnout. You just stop wasting your precious energy on the friction of anxiety, and your internal temperature finally stabilizes.
And that brings us to our final part. Part 5, creating your calm galaxy, moving from micro chaos to macro equilibrium. So to reach this state of equilibrium, we really have to shift our energy flow. First up, accept that everything is temporary. Systems naturally move toward disorder, right? Accepting that simple fact makes it so much easier to let go. Next, perform your duties selflessly. Then examine and manage your constant desires to maintain stability. And finally, surrender the outcomes. Doing this literally stops the turbulent, high-entropy storms of daily life and allows your internal system to naturally, peacefully reset. Think of it like this. A restless, attached mind is honestly like a dying star. It's volatile, it's frantically burning through its energy reserves, and it's constantly shooting off these high-entropy solar flares of anxiety. But Chapter 5 of the Gita teaches us that by mastering karma sannyasa, you undergo a massive cosmic shift. Your mind stops acting like that burning star and expands into a calm galaxy. Now, you aren't empty or dead. A galaxy is full of incredible motion, energy, and life. You're still completely active in the universe, but because you aren't attached to the outcomes, the whole shebang operates with a profound, unshakable inner silence and just perfect cosmic balance. The next time you feel the heat and pressure of the modern world rushing in on you, just take a breath. Remember the lotus leaf, staying dry in the mud. Remember the laws of energy. True peace isn't found by escaping the world, but by radically changing how you engage with it. So, I'll leave you with this. Are you feeding the chaos of your mind? Or are you building a calm galaxy?